Hey there. You remember the last time you worked so hard for something big in your life, only to feel stuck afterwards? Whether you won or you lost. After watching a small part of the Super Bowl, it had me thinking about the big build up to an event. We all face them, whether they're professional or personal. We all feel the elation of winning and the defeat of loss. And someone in a professional game, such as the Super Bowl, wins and someone loses. And those feelings sometimes in the athletes can get stuck one way or the other within themselves. But it's not just athletes, it's ourselves as well. So, do you ever remember where you worked so hard at something that you felt stuck afterwards? That feeling within you that just didn't quite go away? That ends up for many of us. And I remember my own example being I used to cycle a lot, and I love getting on that bike and just going. I would cycle 30, 40 miles every day. And then I set my goal to cycle 100 miles. I worked so hard to get my body in shape to handle the 50, the 60, the 75, and then the 100 miles. I was so excited. I had friends that I was going to spend the whole day with. The whole course was mapped out. There weren't huge hills to climb, which is saying something in the area that I live in. It just was going to be a great day on the bike. But once I completed it, I felt both elation and defeat. I was physically spent. I felt so like, yes, I did it, but I also felt like, oh, no, I can't celebrate. I can't even think about that. All I could think about was just being in this little place of like shutdown, not deep down into any emotion one way or the other. But there's so many of us that go down one side or the other. When you're in elation and winning, that can carry you on and on and on through weeks and weeks. And when you're in defeat, that can carry you on and on and on for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I want to talk about what happens after we win and then what happens after we lose. There's an internal dialogue that happens to both after success or failure. Success in the professional world may be your success and plans to get a pay raise, to get recognized by corporate, or the big sales event if you're a solopreneur and you've got this big sales event coming and you win it, you land that client. It's like, whoa, so exciting, so exciting. And personally, there are times that we have those personal events, like my victory being on the bicycle for 100 miles. It was like, that's my personal victory. Every time I climb a mountain, I feel like there's a personal victory. There's also those relationship victories as well, like a proposal. Maybe you're the one asking, and maybe you're the one receiving or accepting. Those are all kinds of success within it. And your immediate thoughts might be, I crushed it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Or all that hard work paid off. That's what I felt like when I was on the bike every day. And then there's the one that's, I'm on top of the world. Nothing's going to stop me now. And there's also one that goes, this is who I am. I am unstoppable, right? You can probably relate to those kind of emotions and times within you that you achieve success. Let's see what happens later. Over weeks, those later thoughts can get stuck in elation, believe it or not. They get stuck in a way that are detrimental to us because they're saying, will I ever achieve this again? What if this was a fluke? Or I'm not sure I'm actually good enough to repeat this success. Or perhaps you're overconfident. You said, I don't need to prepare next time because I've proven myself already. Now let's explore what happens when things don't go as planned, such as failure, right? We can plan all we want. We can do the work all we want. But professionally, we lose a client. We lose that big deal. We don't meet our expectations or our quotas for a quarter or two. And that can get to you after a while. And personally, rejection. We get rejected by someone that we have had a relationship with, be it someone that we want to partner up with, be it the family, be it our peers. Rejection's huge, and it feels like failure. Maybe it's a team sport that you're doing, and you want it for your personal goals, but you don't make it. And so those immediate thoughts go to, I blew it. I'll never recover from this. I wasn't good enough. Why does this always keep happening to me? I should have done more. I could have, should have been better. And over the weeks, when we get stuck in this defeat, there are other thoughts that come in that repeat on this cycle of over and over again in our brains that say, I'm a failure. What's the point of even trying? Everyone saw me fail. I am embarrassed. Oh, I can't go out and do this again. Because what if I fail again? And then there's the one that's like, if I can't fix this, then what? What will I do if I can't fix this? I can't. Well, and the last one kind of here on my list says, it's easier to stop trying than to keep failing. Those are all very defeating sentences, thoughts to keep saying in your mind and playing over and over again. And there are times where we can get stuck in either way, and we're not growing, we're not expanding, we're not moving on, we're not fulfilling our purpose in what we want to do. Now, there's side effects to either the elation or the defeat. And they affect us mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Or physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, however you want to say it. I just happen to line it up that way. So what are some of the side effects with, let's start with elation, that stuck in success? Mentally, you become overconfident. Fear of losing momentum, fear of, oh my gosh, I am just not going to be able to stay on top. The pressure of constantly having to outperform is huge. Now the emotionally, we're filled with anxiety. Anxiety about replicating the success. that stress of, oh my gosh, if I don't get it, what there could be consequences for not repeating this success. And there is also guilt in this emotionally, the guilt over celebrating too long. It's like everybody else is back to doing whatever they need to do every day, step by step, and you're still going, hey, yeah, aren't I great? Look at what I've done. And that can weigh on you a while. Physically, there is the burnt out. We're chasing that next big win or neglecting self-care because we're on such a high, we've done this. It physically ends up hurting our body. And that's a deeper dive into some of those. And on the spiritual side, which is a lot of my realm, you can get disconnected from your deeper purpose. And you can feel like the external achievement defines your worth, your value in that one achievement. I got this, I did this, I'm all set and ready. When there's more to you, when we continue to go deeper, fuller into our purpose. So what happens with defeat when you're stuck in failure? Well, mentally, that self-doubt comes about. And we've all had times where we're in self-doubt. We've also all had times of that negative thought that spirals down and down and down and down and down and just keeps us going. And what happens with that mentally is that there is an inability to focus on new opportunities. And I would say in some ways that when we're at our success, we attract a lot of new opportunities to us. But we can get so narrow-minded in that we're not opening up to any of those new opportunities as well. Emotionally, people get depressed. Yeah, their feelings of worthlessness or isolation will keep them in that downward spiral into a place where you can't move. You're so inactive that the strength of trying to lift a finger, move, voice is overpowering. And you're trying to find a way to, how do I get out of this cloud, this weight that I'm carrying upon me? Physically, it shows up, that weight that you're carrying, that depression you're feeling, because you're tired. Fatigue just can overtake you. The muscle tension is tough. The appetite changes. You either go to overeating or undereating. And what happens then is you weaken your immune system. So every little bug that comes along, you seem to be getting it, which just undermines any changes. And you think, oh, I can't get out of this. Spiritually, there's often a loss of faith. And faith is that underlying, core value. You know, it is like the foundation to what we do. You have to have faith, and you have to keep moving forward in that faith. And spiritually, you question your purpose. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? So you're feeling disconnected to your own why, your own mission, your own place in the world. So all of that sounds a little bit like a downer. So finally, I'd like to actually share with you how you can reset and move forward no matter how you feel. So what you say to yourself to get unstuck when you're stuck in evolution, you know, grounding success, affirmations and self-talk are very important. And here's a couple that you might resonate with, you might take and just make your own, or I would say tweak a bit so that it really is coming from you and not an outside source. So here's an affirmation that helps you get out of that stuckness when you're elated all the time. This success is proof of my growth, but it doesn't define me. Gratitude always moves us forward. I am grateful for this moment, and I know my journey will have its ups and downs. Another one is, every day is an opportunity to learn regardless of the outcome. And the last one is, I can celebrate this win while staying open to the next lesson. What more could we ask of any of us, myself included, that I can celebrate this win while staying open for the next lesson? Because, as I said above, this journey does have its ups and downs. So the actions you can take to help ground yourself into this success and yet move on is one of the things that I say quite often: practice gratitude. And you do it by writing down the people and the factors that contributed to your success. When we write down every little nuance of our success, all the people who contributed to it, you realize that you don't stand alone, and you realize that there are others that help along the way. I was so grateful for Stephanie and Andy biking with me. I was so grateful for my husband, who took up the slack if I needed dinners prepared or breakfast ready when I was out training for what I did. I also was so grateful for my job and having that time that I could make my hours be what they were, to take the time and do 100 miles. So you can also set new realistic goals that focus on the process, not just the results. I love what I do. I love being here, making videos, but I really love working with clients. I love seeing them get their results. And it's the process of it that we go through, not the results. The results is theirs. That's not my results. I don't take those as wins because it's not me. My win is every day in the little things that I do, that I set from my realistic goals. What they're called is micro manifesting steps. That's what my journal says in there. The other thing to do is to actually unplug, unwind. You know, not be constantly looking for whatever the next best thing is. Where's my phone? What am I watching? What's going to excite me? That high, that adrenaline. We also need the time to pull back in and to rest, to recover, to recharge. Energetically, we need that so that we're ready when those new opportunities come. You know, what future efforts are you going to put into your work, into your life? So what happens when we're stuck in defeat, you know, when we want to shift from failure? So here are some affirmations and self-talk that help in that. One moment doesn't define me. I'm constantly growing and evolving. That's a huge one. This experience is teaching me something valuable that will help me succeed later. I don't think of things as being failures, even though I am using that word. I think of it as a learning opportunity. My gosh, what did I discover in this? What did I discover in the 100 miles that I did? Number one, that my body is going to be physically spent. That's what I discovered. I discovered that maybe I could have done more. And even though I didn't fail, It felt like there was a part of me that could have, should have done better. But it was a teaching moment. I have overcome setbacks before, and I'll rise again is another self-talk affirmation. And the last one here is, I'm not alone in this. Every great success story includes failures. Whenever you are reading about someone who was successful, such as an author who had a book and they put it into all of these publishing houses, rejection, 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 rejection. And then somebody said, yes. And that book that they wrote becomes this bestseller, huge, huge moneymaker. It catapulted their profession. It wasn't an overnight success. It had all those steps that led up to it. So the actions to shift your perspective is on reflect on what went right. Yeah, even in failure, find the small wins or the lessons. Now, let me give you an example of my own personal. When I meditate, especially in like I'm meditating and I want to be in a certain feeling, a certain surrender point in my meditation. And I come out of the meditation and I find that, oh, my mind wouldn't let go. It just had so much going on. I don't think of it again as failure, but I will review in my mind, what was it that I did that went right? And now, if I get to that point again, how do I want it to move forward? What does that look like? How do I imagine that moving forward? Because our mind will take that imagination and will start making those small increments, changes, revisions, and work on them. And it comes to the next one, is create a plan for your next step, no matter how small, to build momentum. And that's exactly what I do, is I build momentum. You know, not every day is perfect. We also need to seek support. Do you have a mentor, a coach, a friend for a different perspective, or someone who's going to encourage you to keep going? That's really very helpful. You're not out there alone. It's one of the reasons I love coaching, is that you got somebody in your corner. You have somebody to talk to. You have someone who might turn the picture that you're running in your head, give you ideas and things that you can do differently. And the last little bit that I have here on this is practice self-care. Move your body, meditate, or connect with nature to reset it emotionally. So I'm going to give you some final thoughts in this point, but I'm not quite done yet. I have something special that I picked up from last night as well. But first, the final thoughts. What we say to ourselves shapes how we move forward, regardless of success or failure. Both elation and defeat can trap us in unhealthy patterns if we don't ground ourselves and refocus. Whether it's a professional win, loss, or a personal triumph, rejection, the key is recognizing that neither defines who you are at your core. By staying curious, learning from experience, and connecting back to your purpose, you can find balance and continue growing. So the last little bit that I wanted to share with you is inspiring, and it was moving, and it didn't matter if you were elated that you won, or you were defeated over losing. It is that inner way to feel your self-worth. And that was a commercial. The only one commercial that I saw last night. And it was I Am Somebody, done by the NFL. Now, I'm going to read the poem to you, but I wanted to give you a little bit of background about this poem. Reverend Jesse Jackson is well known for his impassionate delivery of the I Am Somebody poem. His call and response delivery of the piece is both captivating and inspiring. Jackson was featured on Sesame Street in 1971. He was leading a group of children in the call and response exchange, and some may think that Jackson actually penned the poem. He did not. It was penned by Dr. William Holmes Borders. He was a pastor of the Greater Wheat Street Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. He's the author of the original piece, and he penned it in the 1950s. Borders was a pastor and a civil rights activist, and in true fashion, extemporaneous fashion, I should say, Jackson over time made the poem his own. Today, it is still timeless, and the message is used by mentors. Now, you could check out the NFL commercial, and I hope you feel inspired by it, that I did. But if you don't go and look that up, I wanted to leave you with the I Am Somebody. I may be young, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be small, but I am somebody. I may make a mistake, but I am somebody. My clothes are different. My face is different. My hair is different, but I am somebody. I am black, brown, white. I speak a different language, but I must be respected, protected, never rejected. I am God's child. I am somebody. So if you've ever been stuck feeling either too high or too low after something important, whatever helped you snap out of it, share it in the comments. You know, the key takeaway today is not to let a single event, win or lose, define you. Remember, you have the power to shift your mindset. You are someone. Remember, every experience, whether win or lose, is an opportunity to grow and align with your purpose. You are someone.